All right, we're back now with a big announcement from the New York Stock Exchange. It will soon launch NYSE Texas. That'll be a fully electronic equities exchange headquartered in Dallas. Dr. Kirti Sinha is an associate professor of accounting at UT Dallas and joins us now to make us smarter about what this means for Texas companies and for the state's economy. Thanks so much for being with us, Dr. Sinha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So can we start off with this, just for the lay person out there? I think a lot of people have heard of the New York Stock Exchange, and they hear that a branch is coming to Texas. What exactly does that mean, and how big of a deal is it?
So I think from a layman's point of view, what is a stock exchange? And I'm just going to keep it very simple. A stock exchange is a place where you can, trade stocks. You can buy stocks or, sell stocks, like as simple as I can put it. And again, now in current days, like all transactions, all stock, trading happens electronically. So one may wonder, why is NYSE even trying to come to Dallas? What does it mean when they're setting up a physical office in Dallas? So what I'm going to say is that, of course, trading is all electronic. But whenever companies are trying to get listed, and listed is when they are getting approvals to trade on a stock exchange, they have so many requirements, including regulatory requirements and compliance requirements to follow, that it gets extremely difficult. So having a physical office essentially helps, NYSE get more customers or more companies who are willing to get listed.
Okay, good explanation there. And I guess a big reason why they choose Texas is because of fewer regulations here, which makes it easier and perhaps cheaper to get registered in a stock exchange. And so it makes a lot of sense then for them to move to a state like this. But it can bring a lot of financial benefits too, can't it, for the state that they relocate to, in this case, Texas, because it makes it more of a financial center where business is happening?
So I think definitely one of the reasons that, Dallas or like Texas in general is booming right now, right? The economy is booming. A lot of companies are moving their headquarters. There are also a lot of small businesses who are like trying to get listed. But I think the reason why NYSE is setting up an office right now is because of the announcement that we saw last year about Texas Stock Exchange that's coming up. And it's going to be headquartered in Dallas. And I don't know if you remember, but in October, November, NASDAQ has also decided to set up an office in Dallas. And, why is there so much rush right now to do this? I think it's because Texas Stock Exchange is opening up, and NYSE and NASDAQ are kind of, thinking about some competition in the future. And that's why they're setting things up here. But I think from the economic point of view, it is a good news for us. More exchanges are there. That's gonna, bring up the economy. It's gonna bring a lot more investors to the community. It's gonna get more companies to come here because they know that if there is a physical presence, it gets much easier for them to get listed. Mm-hmm. In terms of regulatory requirement, I would say that all stock exchanges come under the purview of the SEC. So it's not that it's going to be any different than what companies have been experiencing at NYSE or NASDAQ so far. Right. But the additional requirements, Texas Stock Exchange is saying that we are going to add those additional requirements that NASDAQ and NYSE has right now. So I think that, so maybe, I don't know if NYSE is going to relax some of their additional requirements as well or not to compete better.
But the NYSE and NASDAQ staying relevant by competing with so-called Y'all Street, the Texas Stock Exchange, which has already announced here. Just have a few seconds here left. So we have this big announcement here. What needs to happen for this to actually become reality?
For NYSE to come here or like taxi?
For the NYSE.
No, so I think it is fairly easy. As I said, like they can have their physical presence anywhere they want. So, I mean, right now they're in Chicago. They're just moving away from Chicago, which I feel sad because I'm a Northwestern element. I have lived in Chicago for a long time. But I think it's going to be really good for the economy. And it's going to be easy. It's not going to be very difficult. If they're saying they're going to do it, it can happen pretty soon.
Northwestern is a great place for sure, and our condolences to Chicago on this one for attracting this in. Dr. Kirti Sinha from UT Dallas, thanks so much for being with us today and making us smarter about this.
Of course, yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.